Hey guys, coming at you from RZR's garage today. Got something I want to show you. I've got the drive shaft out of my 570 RZR. I've had a issue with some excessive play in the front U-joint, and I wanted to kind of touch base with you and let you know what I have found. I actually had some play up and down, side to side, when you move the drive shaft when it's in the buggy hooked up. To me it had quite a bit of play, excessive play. But what I want to show you is what I did to eliminate that, the fix for it. This is the pin from the factory that goes in the yoke there. You drive it in and drive it out to take it out, which they can be a pain in the butt, but with the right size punch, which I believe is a 5/16 punch, it actually makes, I think it's 5/16. Yeah, actually makes life quite a bit easier, to be honest with you. But what I want to talk to you about is how did I get rid of that play, and I don't know if any of you all have that play, but I want to show you what is causing the play in these front drive shafts. When you actually look at the front pinion on these front differentials, they should be squared off from the edge of the pinion. If I can get my hand in there without blocking all of it. If you see there, right at the edge of that, see how it's flat and square on the top? Well, that should be the same all the way across. But if you look, it's not. It starts to... The camera wants to focus on the pin. Sorry about that. But if you look right at the pin, right there where the edge of the pin is, I'm going to move the pin and come all the way this way. The actual flat surface on the splines is starting to wear off, and that is just due to wear and tear from the movement back and forth of the yoke on the splines on the pinion, and it actually caused quite a bit of play in that drive shaft. So, what I did to fix that, I took the drive shaft out, and if you hold it at a 12 o'clock position, the stock position for the pin is at 12 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. So I took and drilled and tapped a 5/16, a 3/8 hole, 3/8 tap. I used a different size bit to drill it, and then I tapped it here and on the other side as well, this would be 12 and 6, and then 3 and 9 o'clock if you were looking at it as far as a clock goes. But what I did was I drilled that, tapped it, and made a set of my own. Sorry for the camera moving around a lot. I made a set of, I made a way to pin the yoke to the splines to keep them from moving. So I went and bought 2 grade 8 bolts and 2 nuts. And what I done is I actually Loctited them together. Not together, but put Loctite on the bolt before I slid it into the yoke itself to pin it. After you put the nut and bolt together, put some blue Loctite on it, and just thread it in each side, each one of them. Just do each side. And when you put it on the machine and you start running it in, I'm kind of holding the camera at an angle here so you can kind of get an idea of when it starts to come through. Sorry about that. When it starts to actually come through, you'll see it. You can see it there coming through the edge. But it will do that on both sides. And after it comes through, actually touches the pinion, you just barely want to snug it up. Now, you don't want to really tighten it down quite a bit, even though the splines are harder than what this, even a grade 8 bolt is, because they're heat treated. But after you put your Loctite on it, run it in there, put a little bit of Loctite on the back side of this nut, and then I just use this as a jam nut to kind of hold it in place. I've had it in there for about roughly 500 miles. Haven't had any issues at all with it coming loose. I took it out yesterday and put 2 new U-joints in, 2 new splicer joints, and getting ready to put it back in now. And I just wanted to share with you, if you guys are having any issues with any kind of excessive drive shaft play in the front, do not pin the back yoke. Leave the back yoke as is. Don't pin the back yoke. That's a slip yoke, and it's made to slip, you know, with the engine transmission to move in and out. So do not pin that one, but you can pin this. No issues whatsoever. I've actually, there's 2 or 3 other guys that I know that have done this, and after I have, and they haven't had any issues as well. We kind of used my buggy as an experiment to make sure that everything was okay, and so far so good. So if you have any questions or anything, just comment below, and I'll try to hit back with you as soon as I can. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my video, and as soon as I get this put back together, I will get another video together and show you the final result of what it looks like when it's up in there. I may even be able to do a short installation video as well. Thanks for watching, fellas. Later.